We will talk today about one of the not so common problem, but it becomes an epidemic. With the Craigslist advertisements, they try to move them themselves, do-it-yourselfers, and the next step, they have no idea about balancing the piano and doing it properly, and when piano tips over on a dolly, all of a sudden breaks into two pieces, it becomes a two-piece pedal. Even professional movers, it can happen. To replace them, it's not a big problem, but when you receive three pedals, or let's say one, and then it's not matching because the style is old, you have to order all three new ones, which triples the cost. If you're lucky to deal with Kawaii Yamaha and they still have it in their inventory, they will send you a good match. And now comes the fun part. You have to put the new pedal into the piano through the front opening, and now you have the T of the pedal, and you try to put it in and it doesn't go. You try sidewise, it doesn't go. And this is the front kick plate. And again, from the scavenge from the old piano, again, you are stuck. So your next course of action is to take a tilter and unscrew the bottom board and do a big Hollywood production. And don't forget to bring your sleeping bag, milk and cookies, and be ready to clean the white carpet after you work on it. So this is not a good plan either. Too costly. Many years ago, I attended a class at the PTG chapter meeting in South Bay area near Long Beach, and one of the brightest minds in the industry, late Herman Coffert, presented a class where Herman had a machinist background. During the war, he worked at the factory building the Liberty ships, and this guy knew a lot about metals. He suggested to drive the pin out and enlarge the hole in the pedal, put it back friction-free, and drill a hole from both sides and create a situation where technician can take the pin out. Should come out. Move the pedal inside without the pin, and then standing on his knees can easily put the pin back. Tighten the set screw on both sides and you're done. It takes 10 seconds to do, but it requires homework to drill the hole out, do the tapping, and do all the feeding in the shop, which is more convenient. And you can do it on a set of 3 pedals in a very quick fashion. So many years ago at one of the conventions, a blind piano tuner, he's gone now, from somewhere from Virginia, had a son-in-law who was a machinist, and they together had designed a tool to push that pin out, and they were selling it for $35 or $40, and of course I bought one. And you can see the construction. If you really turn this pin out, and doesn't take very long, requires some stamina to do, but it works because the pin has knurled part in the very middle of it. Okay, so now it's almost out, and it's very easy. Inside that specialty box, I have a pin, so when it's placed on the anvil, in a matter of one tap, it comes out. Now, when you insert it, you put the same pin back, and now you have to push it in. Again, remember, you are standing on your knees. Inside the board, it's very dusty, so here it is. Now I'm pushing it in. I'm doing about quarter or half of a turns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it goes in and it stays in. So it can be done. If you carry this tool with you, it's doable. It's a great tool. Took me a couple of years to talk to the guys from Schaff, and because they have access to machinists, machine shop, they started to make this tool. They sell it for about $40. It's great. At one point I thought, well, before I order my Lamborghini, I will make this tool myself. So you buy a bolt, you drive a hole, and you have to drill U-shape. Now you have to make this gizmo. You need a good machinist to do all the milling. It's not worth it. Pay your $40 to Shaft, have that tool, and you're all set. I have this tool for over 30 years. It saved me. But once I switched to Herman Coffert's system, it's much easier. So if I have to do the final pushing, nailing down, the anvil will work. See, this one comes out easily. If it's stubborn and doesn't want to come out, if I will go very last movement, if it's still stubborn, you can use a punch and you're done. It's very easy to do it in a shop where you have everything. When you're in the customer's home and you have 3 more jobs lined up and you don't want to be too late, you need a different approach. Scott brought brand new replacement pedals. I can see the pinhole, and I'm going in the middle of the pedal and right above the pinhole. And I'm going to make a mark for drilling. And since I'm going to use 6 30-second set screw, I have 6 30-second packaging from the screw, and I have more than 100 of those screws, and I have the drill and a tap put together. So let's go to the drill press. And so you can do this drilling freehand as well. If you did a little bit of practice, it should be fine. And the pedals are here. It started to go through the hole. See?
On the inside of the hole where the bit came through, there's some knurled metal that kind of bent inward, and he's going to clean that out of the hole from the sides.
I have the drill bit, and all I do is, that's it. It takes a moment to clean this. That's it. Okay, now we'll go and grind down the knurled part of the pin so it will go in and out with the push of a finger. We need to tap the 6 30-second hole, and you see how easily it taps? But good rule is like tapping the airgraph holes. Go in, make 1-2 turns, back it off, let the tap cool off, and sort of back a little bit. That's what machinists do, the old-fashioned way. You can, okay, now I'm grinding just the very last millimeter or so. I was glancing through the catalog of Renner in Germany for European distribution, and they sell set of replacement pedals already with those holes tapped, set screws already in there. So for replacement, you just go, unscrew, put it in, tight, done. This goes, just tapping it, and you take 2 of those set screws here, and here comes the second one. So the only trip you have to take is to the grinder. If you have a stone going on a drill press, you can grind it while you're at the drill press if you're in. And this screwdriver appropriate for that. That's it. So you do sort of semi-tight from the bottom. After inserting it in, putting the pin, tighten it even by hand from the bottom, and then real jamming happens right from the top.
Got it.
You're done. It will hold better on both sides than the friction held, and it's effortlessly.
Yeah.
So you got both. By law, You're supposed to give the broken ones back to the customer.
Yeah.
And if they have a real enthusiast who will take it to the welder and do all that stuff, let them do it. But this system works. You see, this repair was done on the Yamaha, and the weld failed. So it was welded second time.
You may have one more tip that'll help someone doing this job.
Yeah.
Once you get the pins in and everything's perfect, you put it in the piano, tighten everything down, and then you look and you press the damper pedal up and down, and it's rubbing against the left or the right side of the don't you have to bend these? Isn't there a way to bend these pins to make that?
Yeah, you can bend them with a hammer. You can bend them. You learn how to do it. You bend this side and it goes that side.
Yeah.
Or you can reposition slightly the bracket.
Okay.
Too. The hole for the bracket is bigger than the screw. So you loosen the screws, you adjust the angle, and then another thing is this pedal came from the player, and those massive metal rods doing the player work, imagine this is the pedal rods, were jammed by the set screw. So this is the same principle.
Yeah.
But this is massive and this is more miniature. Nothing new. Machinists will look at it and say, oh, I can fix it. So this is for this. So your treasury becomes to have that plastic box which has a sign here, pedal pin modification. So everything is here. I have a good collection of pins, in mostly American sizes and few Asian, a little bit bigger. I have drills and taps for 8 30-seconds. So if anything fails here, I can go next size larger. But I seldom use it. In this compartment, I have all the pins to punch it out, punch it in. 6 30-second paraphernalia, about 100 of those screws, drills, and taps. And that's about it. Some pedals I saw were done with this type of screws. I mean, they look more elegant, less noticeable. Those are the set screws. But I still prefer bigger head, more common 6 30-second screws. And maybe I should put in this box a little jar with the tapping oil. But the brass is so soft, and if you're careful, you really don't need it. And there is a big chunk of a magnet holding all those parts together. So you can see this. And the magnet is also holding the 6 30-second. And here are the 8 30-second screws, so less chances for accidental spill. And of course this stays in the shop, and there is no need to take it every day on the job unless you really have something far away, and you can take this box with you and do this right on the spot, freelance. You need a vise and good technique with the drilling. The only thing is the grinding of the knurled part.
Yeah.
That's about it. I hope it helps. And it's a really lucrative repair. I did it for many movers. And if you do it for piano movers and you bail them out, you get all the referrals you want from those guys. And they are more important than piano teachers' referrals. Piano teacher can have 20, 25 students. Piano movers can make 15 stops a day.
Yeah.
And if something is broken, he will tell, call this guy. He will do it.